This is the game that is going to get Brian Kelly fired. I don't know if it'll happen later today, around 2 p.m. Eastern time, so in 45 minutes at the time of this recording, or maybe later in the day. I don't know. But I do know that Kelly at LSU is not going to work out. A&M dominated, trailing 18-14 at the half, and they outscored LSU 35-7 in the rest of the game. When Casey Conception had that punt return for a touchdown, before I continue, liking the video, watching the video all the way through, and commenting your thoughts down below are the best ways to support the channel, as they help push me into the algorithm, help me to receive a larger paycheck that I can use to reinvest in producing elite analysis for you all. Subscribing to the channel, hitting the notification bell, sharing the video around, and supporting us in other ways that you can find out via the description are other awesome ways to support our operation at College Football with Sam. We are becoming the best. We want to be the best. Thank you all for making that possible. You could see it on Brian Kelly's face that he knew it was over. It was the face of death and despair. He could no longer yell at his coordinators, yell at his quarterback who has no help. He just couldn't do it anymore. The game was over, and he knew it. He absolutely knew that game was over. Reed averaged nearly 10 yards per attempt. A&M dominated on special teams. A&M ran the ball for almost 6 yards per carry for over 200 yards. LSU was held to 2.2 yards per carry because A&M had 7 sacks and 11 TFLs. LSU's O-line is just, it's a disaster. There's no other way to put it. Their portal additions on offense never worked out, even at receiver. Defensively, they worked out, but there's only so much you can do defensively against a team like A&M when you can't generate any offense. And eventually, you shrivel up, you fold over, and you die. And that is what happened here. My oh my. LSU should win national titles. They should compete for them. They should easily be in the playoffs more years than not. And occasionally miss, occasionally, due to the fact you're playing in as tough of a conference that LSU does, especially with the 9 conference games coming up and the fact that I imagine LSU will still schedule tough out-of-conference games. And yet, they are already out of the playoff picture. Tell me that with a 24-point loss to A&M, 5-point loss to Ole Miss, and a 7-point loss to Vanderbilt, with your best win probably being South Carolina at home by 10, how they get to the playoffs. Unless they win out, and I don't think they're going to win out. You got that game against Alabama on the road, and then at the end of the year, you got to play Oklahoma on the road, where Venables is not going to have the same type of pressure that you do if you're Kelly. And you're not going to block Oklahoma if you can't block A&M, as Bud Elliott said on the Cover 3 podcast last night. I mean, LSU won the turnover battle by 2, and they lost by 24 points. Like, if A&M simply cleans up some of their mistakes, they win this game by 30 or 40. The game, in terms of how it was going, minus trailing at the half, reminded me of 2019 Ohio State versus Michigan, where this rivalry isn't nearly as intense as that one, but these teams play every year, and there's kind of a personal feeling between these two teams with, Tommy Moffitt being their strength and conditioning coach for A&M, was that at LSU for a while, and these teams technically do have a rivalry since A&M joined the SEC. These teams have played annually. And A&M, never winning in Death Valley before, they destroyed LSU. They physically killed them. They mentally broke them and probably the fan base. I don't see how this can work out with Kelly and A&M or LSU. With Elko and A&M, oh my goodness. You better give him an extension after this year. I mean, this team probably goes 11-1, and even if they go 10-2, that win over Notre Dame is aging gracefully. That is aging like a fine wine. I mean, Notre Dame got a bye after almost coming back against Miami, and they're at home, and A&M, if not for a blocked punt, might have beaten them by double digits. That is a chef's kiss win for Mike Elko against the Notre Dame team that should win out and should be in the playoffs at the end of the year. And if you put Notre Dame in the playoffs, how will you not put an A&M if they're 10-2? And again, more likely than not, they're going 11-1. FPI projects them to go 11-1. Right now, I would favor them over everyone remaining on their schedule, but we'll get to that. We like to save the best for last. We'll talk about A&M's schedule in a bit. Let's get to LSU. Clemson sucks. Your win over them means nothing. LA Tech, congratulations. You should beat that team. Same with Florida. Same with Southeast Louisiana. Same with South Carolina, who's 3-5. Your best win is 3-4. Second best is 3-5. In fact, your best wins were quality losses to now 7-1 Vandy and 7-1 Ole Miss. Those were your best wins. But that all went out the door. If you just beat A&M, where A&M was only favored by 2.5, and this is a game where I thought A&M would win and cover, did not think they would de-pants LSU on national TV like this. And they did. LSU's defense looked similar to last year's defense. And that was because, again, Whit Weeks was out. LSU's offense looked like last year's LSU offense when they played Alabama. It was a pretty similar game. As a commenter on my Twitter page replying to me, he was like, hey, I or maybe it was YouTube, but he said, this reminded me a lot of A&M LSU. I thought that A&M would win big, and they did. And that's what happened here. And A&M is a different beast than Ole Miss and Vanderbilt. They are much better than both of those teams. They went into Death Valley and they nuked that place. It was empty midway, early fourth quarter. That place was empty. The fan base, so when your team quits on you, that's bad. But you can sometimes fix that. Sometimes a team quits on you because they get depantsed first quarter and you just can't come back. That's understandable. That happens to even some good teams. Shouldn't happen at LSU, though, period. The fan base, when the fan base quits on you, you're dead. And the fan base has quit on Brian Kelly. They deserve better than this. You're not beating Alabama on the road off a bye, because guess who also gets a bye? Alabama. Arkansas can beat you at home. Western Kentucky you'll beat, even if you have an interim head coach, but that just gets you to 6 wins, guaranteed. You're not beating Oklahoma on the road late in the year, especially with what I've saw out of LSU through 8 games. 6-6 is likely. 7-5, that's probably your best case scenario at this point. Kelly's going to be gone at the end of the year, and unless the Texas job opens up, that's the number 1 job opening in college football this year by a mile. And you can have your picking for any coach that will listen to you. For A&M, Elko, along with Cignetti, and along with Satake, has had one of the better coaching jobs of the season. At Missouri off the bye is going to be tough, but you get a bye and you're healthy. Missouri is not healthy. South Carolina at home should be pretty close to an automatic win. Samford is an automatic win. Right now, A&M is staring down the barrel of 10-2, 11-1, or 12-0. And the Texas and Missouri games on the road will decide whether they get a home playoff game or whether they have to travel on the road to the playoffs. They'll also decide whether or not A&M goes to Atlanta for the first time ever. Returning production has been mocked this year by a lot of people. A&M was top 10 in returning production, and you have seen the fruits of that bear out. Returning production still matters. It didn't matter for Clemson for a variety of reasons, I think in part due to poor coaching and development and a drop-off in blue-chip talent from last year to this year, on defense mostly, like the backfield linebacker, but also parts of the offensive line and the depth. It didn't matter for Rutgers, and there's some other teams. Penn State was top 25 returning production. They were not top 10, though. Usually, returning production only guarantees you get better when you're top 10, when you return like 70% or more, or 80%. A&M was in that range, and by power ratings, they're way better this year than last year. Resume-wise, they're much better. You also, like with Illinois, power ratings-wise, they're better. Michigan, power ratings-wise, they're better. They weren't in that category, but you get the point. Returning production is still a valuable metric, and A&M really showcases that. A&M is a classic, tough-nose, solid but not elite defense, and great but not elite offense. They're just a hard-nosed, tough, well-coached, athletic, strong, physical team. This is the team that that Tommy Moffitt and Mike Elko have built together. And Colin Klein and Jay Bateman have also done a good job. Hats off to them. I give my flowers to them. They dominated LSU. That's really all I have to say here. And as for Brian Kelly, again, I don't know how you can keep him if you're LSU. I would not be shocked if at some point today, especially after that domination, it's announced that he is fired. Thanks for watching this video. Make sure if you haven't already to like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, comment your analysis and thoughts down below so I can reciprocate my thoughts with you in the comment section, and check out anything on these end screens that are up here. Whether it's a recommended video or playlists for teams that I'm talking about in a preview, prediction, or a reaction, make sure to hit the notification bell on those, scroll through them, and watch any suggested videos if you are interested. Thank you for helping college football with Sam become the best and the biggest college football brand and channel on YouTube and other social media platforms. We will reach that one day because of your support.